11 o'clock. We just got to the trailhead and we're taking off. There's still cattle up on the mountains on this side of the mountain. Today on the other side, on the Uri side of the Oberalp Pass, there was a holiday. It's happening every year in fall, so it's mid-September now, where they drive down the cattle from the mountain meadows. It's called the Almabtrieb. But on this side, fall lasts a little longer, so the cattle can stay out a little longer as well. We took it slow this morning. There's no need to rush because the trip to the hut is really only about 4, maybe 4.5 hours of walking. And there's no bad weather in sight. So yeah, no rush for us. We started near Sedrun in Grisons in eastern Switzerland at about 1700 meters, just past the Oberalp Pass coming from Uri. And now we're heading up to Mittelplatten Pass at about 2400 meters and something. And from there it's going to be downhill to the Etzlihütte, where tomorrow we'll take the eastern exit and head over to Rueras Pass and then make our way back down to the valley from there. You might be able to see it, but in this valley the cattle herd is actually still quite some ways up. Up there, sitting in the valley near the creek that's coming down, which is, I guess, not unusual for this time of the year. It's just with dogs and cattle herds in the Alps, it's always, you gotta be careful. Most cattle is really chill and very often is also used to dogs because the farm where they're coming from might have a dog. But with the return of the wolf in the Alps, which is a very contentious topic, there's also a lot of cattle and cattle herds who have made really bad experiences with dogs or wolf-like animals, and especially if they have young ones, calves in the herd, and there's mothers around, you got to be really careful. So we'll have to figure out whether the hiking trail actually goes through the middle of the herd. The situation is really unfortunate, not ideal. I'd hoped that the cattle would already be down in the valley. And as you can see, they are kind of spread up all over the valley over there. And you can also see there's mothers with calves. So this is essentially the worst kind of situation, because you can also see that the trail is essentially going it's going through here, up there. So it's going straight through the herd, and we will have to figure out what we'll do from here. I think probably our best bet is to try to walk around the herd up here, through there, see whether we can pass someone at a safe distance, and hope that nothing happens. All right, we have made it through the worst, I think. Past these cows over here, just up there below the fence, and yeah, we're gonna continue past that part of the herd. There's still some down there. Turns out we already have the first gear failure. So during that little exercise up on the slope, circumventing the cows, I lost the transmitter for the microphone I was using. So gear failure, or rather process failure number 2. So there's not going to be any drone footage today, because apparently overnight my smartphone pushed an Android update, and the DJI app is apparently incompatible and just vanishes from your phone. So I re-downloaded it. Can't really connect it. We've gone through the herd safely. No issues there. All in all, that exercise could be considered excessive. But you know, with cows, it's really one of those things. I've seen cow attacks firsthand, And every year, you know, people die in the mountains here in the Alps because of cow attacks. I mean, certainly they're usually old, and there's usually dogs involved, and then they stumble, and just, you know, old people die quickly. But it doesn't matter. You know, it's one of those things where 90% of the time is fine, but those 10% where it's not fine, it can turn really ugly real quick. So I'd rather be on the safe side than sorry. We're just crossing these massive power lines here, going across the pass. They are essentially connecting Grisons in the east with the northern side of the Gotthard. So they're running once across the Gotthard Pass. The Gotthard Tunnel, that you might be familiar with, is actually right below us, more or less right below us. And we are crossing this mountain the way it was crossed before there was a tunnel, I guess. Turns out, if I'm not mistaken, this is the clam that is the international sign for the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, Jakobsweg. So apparently, crossing the Gotthard Massif is part of that. Ronna, what do you think about that, huh? We are being pilgrims. In terms of difficulty, this trail has been very tame so far. I mean, it's continuing down here at the foot of this wall. There's some little chains over there, so it might get a little interesting. Yeah, nothing to write home about. Ronna already climbed up. She's a pretty solid indicator of something an issue or not. If Ronna gets up there without problems, pretty much everyone can. That's where we came up. Yeah, like I said, a little bit exposed, but super wide, super easy to walk. It's certainly becoming a bit windy up here. That's where we came from. Scrambling up here. Here's got some iron sticks. Ronna already made it up. It's 2:30 and we made it to the top of the pass. So Mittelplatten is what this is called. And yeah, we're just about... It's a bit of a weird pass because you're literally standing right below a gigantic power pole. Just 2,500 meters. All right, and this is the other side of the Gotthard. You certainly can't get lost here. It's really quite a beautiful view. Vierwaldstätter See. That's where you can come up from Uri to Etzlihütte. Etzlihütte, where we're going tonight. And then tomorrow we're taking up this valley over here, eastward, around Etzlihütte, right there behind it, and then back down to Grisons on the other side of the valley, so the west side of the Etzlihütte. You can also see the it's Etzlihütte. So that's the pass when you're coming from the Etzlihütte. That was the original plan. If this would have been a tour with the Alpine Association, we would have stayed Friday at the Etzlihütte, crossed over to Etzlihütte on Saturday, and then continued down to Grisons on Sunday. But since nobody signed up, we're just doing it ourselves. Some steep steps on the other side. Snack break just before we hit the hut. It's one of those descents that look real quick, but they actually drag out quite a bit. And you can already see the hut from the top of the path. You think you already made it, but the reality is you essentially have to almost descend as much as we went up on the other side. So it's taking us a while. Made it. Now we're just gonna pick up some water for Ronna over there, and then we'll have to do this little last push up to the hut. I guess they built it up there because of the avalanches, but they might also build it there just to ensure that everybody's nice and warm when they have done this last little push. Who knows? No need to pick up water for Ronna. She's taking a bath herself. That's where we came down from. Through that field right there. From all the way up there. Ronna is also ready for a snack. We've made it. Finally at the hut. And it even has a hot pot. Wow. Yeah, I guess this is very different from the CDT. Yeah, you generally don't have neither a house nor a hot pot. We have this fancy little house here for ourselves, including these wonderful beds, some space for Ronna,